I'm not a lawyer, but there's already a lot happening with this Jay-Z case, so let me give you a quick rundown of the things that have happened since Jay-Z has been added to the case. First up, Alex Spiro entered a notice of appearance for Jay-Z. Notice of appearance is just a lawyer filing the formal paperwork to say, hey, I'm the lawyer representing this person on this case. So Spiro is representing Jay-Z, and if you remember the Alec Baldwin case, you may remember Alex Spiro.
Did you take the rounds that were provided to you? By the way, they were Starline brass nickel primer live, weren't they?
I don't recall.
You don't recall? Really?
That is what I said.
If you didn't watch that case, you missed a time. Now, one of the first things that Alex did when he joined was file a motion for the plaintiff, the person suing Diddy and Jay-Z for this incident, to identify herself or for the case to be dismissed. Specifically, the docs say, quote, defendant, meaning Jay-Z, is respectfully seeking either dismissal of the allegations or disclosure of the plaintiff's identity. Fair is fair. It is not consistent with justice, fairness, or the rules governing federal proceedings for the plaintiff and her counsel to smear defendant's good name in ways that are calculated to feed media coverage and thus inflict maximum public relations damage while the core fact of plaintiff's identity remains wholly hidden from the view. In this motion, they also confirmed that the extortion lawsuit that was filed on November 18th against Tony Busby and his firm was indeed filed by Jay-Z, which we already knew. The doc says, quote, on November 18th, 2024, Mr. Carter filed a complaint against attorney Busby and his law firm for his extortionate conduct. In retaliation, plaintiff and attorney Busby filed the amended complaint. They did so, however, only following a failed attempt by attorney Busby to obtain a restraining order against Mr. Carter's counsel. Hold up. One law firm trying to get a restraining order against another law firm. Is that what I just read? Child, this is already feeling messy. I'm not going to recap this entire 29-page document, but basically, Jay-Z's attorney is arguing that the law requires that plaintiffs have to identify themselves unless they can prove that there is an extraordinary reason that they shouldn't have to. And that extraordinary reason has to outweigh or matter more than the interests of the public and the interests of the defendant. Now, Jay-Z's attorney does include a list of what the Second Circuit Court, which is a federal appellate court, has said are extraordinary reasons that someone could remain anonymous. And some of those reasons include if the allegations are highly sensitive and personal, then a person can remain anonymous. But in regards to this reason, Jay's attorney cites some case law that says, quote, allegations of SA by themselves are not sufficient enough to allow a person to remain anonymous. They then also note that judges in the same district of this case have made people reveal their identities even when the cases are highly sensitive and personal. So apparently this isn't a real reason. Another reason a person could remain anonymous is if there is a risk of harm to that person or anyone connected to them. And in regards to this, Jay-Z's attorney says that Jay-Z doesn't know who this person is or who they could even be. So he's obviously not threatened her. And the plaintiff's attorney doesn't seem to be claiming that he has either. Jay's attorney does know a case in which a person was allowed to proceed anonymously, but in that instance, evidence from a medical professional was submitted, showing that if that person's name was revealed, it would cause her, quote, psychological and emotional pain so intense that it would threaten her stability, her safety, and even her life. So again, Jay's attorney is saying the lawyers in this case haven't provided anything that would indicate that there is a risk of harm to this plaintiff. They haven't sent a statement from a mental health professional, no affidavit from the plaintiff herself, no corroborating proof. There's nothing. So they argue that this one doesn't apply. Another reason they list is if the person is a minor, but they say that obviously this plaintiff is an adult. So again, this one doesn't apply either. There are a number of other reasons that are included in this motion, but those are just a few. This motion ends saying that the plaintiff in this case must reveal herself or the case should be dismissed. Now, the next thing Alex Spiro has done since joining this case was file a motion to expedite, saying, quote, due to the highly sensitive nature of this matter and the intense media scrutiny it has generated, we respectfully request to be heard on an expedited basis. Basically, he's saying he wants to get in front of the judge really quickly so it can be determined if this plaintiff is going to have to reveal her name or not. And then today, Alex Spiro filed another letter. And in this one, he's claiming that someone called his office yesterday, and this person alleges that she reached out to the Busby law firm back in October regarding her experience of being trafficked by celebrities. But her experience had nothing to do with Diddy or Jay-Z for that matter. But according to her, the Busby firm still asked her at what point did she meet Diddy and encouraged her to file a suit anonymously. even though she apparently didn't want to remain anonymous. This letter from Alex Spiro and his team goes on to say that when the woman brought up going to law enforcement regarding what happened to her, members of the Busby firm informed her that going to law enforcement was not encouraged. It goes on to say that people from the Busby firm tried to make this woman say that she was drugged and held down, pushed, and physically assaulted, even though she says that's not what happened to her. So she says she felt directed and coached by the Busby firm, and when she was unwilling to agree to their version of events, she says they dropped her as a client. So that's where we are. I am sure the Busby team will be responding. So we will wait and see what that response says, as well as if the judge agrees to hear some of these issues in an expedited manner. I have a feeling this is going to get very messy, so I'm gonna try to keep up. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel on that other platform in case this one goes away.